So from the previous video, we give you a couple examples how to write a for loop. So the first one, we print 5 times hello. Then this one, we will print the number and the number square from 1 to 10. So then you will see the output like this. So usually when so then that's your output. And also I want you to see, if you are not sure how they do that, the first time you see the for loop syntax, you should read the next 2 slides yourself and try to explain to yourself how the data flow was from the for loop example. So the same thing, you see you have the flow chart. So now if we are in class, I will ask you guys to work on this example together to discuss with your classmate. But now since we only have the video, so then I want you to see this question, pause the video, try to work by yourself, then I will give you the example, the sample example. So then this example I want you to do is, I want you to print a number 1 to 10 in one line. Okay, so how to use the for loop. Then you need to using the set. W is for space for each value. How you will do that in a for loop. So that's what I want you to do, okay? So pause the video and see if you can write that. So don't forget, after your 1 to 10, you need to have a new line. So I will let you to work on that. So pause the video to see if you can modify from your existing example. Okay, so I just show you how the solution will look like to print the number using a for loop 1 to 10 in one line, set space 4. So I will using the example we came from our chapter 5, example 6. So here, so since we already have the number, okay, so 1 to 10, so let's do that. Okay, so one thing is here, I don't really need a header. Okay, so we just want the for loop. So like here, let me comment out so I can start from beginning to show you how to do that. So remember, we want to have for loop, right? Okay, so I want to do 1 to 10. So usually if we want to just do everything in the for loop, you see, we can do the count. We start from 1 to 10, so we start from 1. So you can initialize and assign your variable inside the for loop. So don't forget your semicolon. So I want to start from 1 until what? Until 10, right? So then count should be less than or equal to 10. So then every time I increment count. Okay. Before I told you this count, right? We have the post increment or pre-increment, but the post increment and the pre-increment only affect the variable in that statement. For the for loop update, you see, no matter you do the count plus post increment or plus pre-increment in for loop, doesn't matter. Okay, so that's what I want to show you. We do the pre-increment this one. Actually, it won't affect anything from your code. Right, so I want to do print number on each line, right? So that's what I mean cout. Okay, I want each one space is 4. So that's why we do what? Set W, right? We do the set W. Okay. So you set W, so then your space is 4. So this set W only affect your next value. So which one I want to print? Right, count. Okay. So then this one is how you write a for loop. From 1 to 10, set space is 4. But remember, I said afterward. Sorry. Okay, so then here is you print number 1 to 10, right? In one line, set space is 4. But then don't forget, I say after you're done. Earlier I accidentally deleted that. Okay, so after you're done, you need to do what? I want a new line. So that's why you see, be careful. Your new line is cout at the end here. Then you can see here, be careful. My for loop actually only from here. I didn't put the braces because I only have one line. But if you want, right, if that help you, you know you work on only on one statement or a braces, one code block. So after we're done, I will recommend you, after your for loop is done, put the new line here. So we can know this one, they are a code block. So after we done the for loop, right, I want to have end of line. Okay, so then you see here when we run the program, okay, so you have your output. Okay, so 1 to 10. And also you can see here I have a new line. Okay, otherwise you can see if I don't have new line, they don't have the space in between. So usually why we want to have a new line, because sometimes when I display this 1 to 10, I won't have something else to print. Or I just show you, you have value here. Because sometimes we have other thing to display. Yeah, usually we have more thing to display afterward. So that's why after your 1 to 10, you need to add a new line. So that's why your other thing display afterward, they will have the in the next line. Also, I will show you here, I have the new line at the end. So that's why you see other thing display afterward, there will be another line. But if you forgot to put the new line after your for loop, then they will look like that. You see, because you don't have a new line, they just follow by that. It's sometimes we don't want to do in our program. So every time you write your program, you should run the program and check your output is what we want or not. So that's the peer exercise. Okay, so after we're done, the next one I want to show you is for the loop. We use the loop because we want to continue to do certain time. And also sometimes when we do the loop, we also want to using that for keep a running total. What does that mean? For example, sometimes we want to get user input for the grade. So then actually when the user enter the grade, I can keep working on the grades. Also we can continue accumulate the sum of the grades. So I just add to the sum. So that's what we call the keeping a running total in the for loop. Or we do the while loop. So what is the running total? Because sometimes when we're in the loop, we have the value entered. Then we just want to accumulate the sum of the numbers for each repeat of the loop. Or we say the iteration. So this one is, we say accumulator is the variable using to hold the running total. When we say the running total, the meaning is because each time in your iteration, this total will be different. They just keep adding. So that's why the total keep changed. So that's what we call the running total. So actually we can start working on that in the while loop. Right, so one thing is, you see your while loop condition, we have the while, the number, less than equal to 10, right? So right, sometimes before we just say, oh, you want to display the number. But also one thing is, when I display number, I also can have another variable we call sum. And you need to be careful, this variable, the same thing, we need to assign the initial value actually is 0. Because beginning, I don't add any number to the sum. Sum will be 0. So then afterward, I have the while loop, right? Okay, so this while loop, actually, I will have the number less than or equal to 10. So then every time I just add the num into the sum. So did you see here what this operator for? Right? So this operator we say combined operator, right? So your sum value equal to the sum plus num. So that's why we'll write like this. So this one actually is the same as sum equal to sum plus num. Okay, but like I say, usually programmer we want to shorten what we need to type. So that's why you will have the combine operator is add the num to the sum. Then I update the sum variable. See, afterwards, see you increment the num. So then afterward, you will get your total value is the sum. So that's the running total example. So then, of course, you can see the next flowchart example. We set accumulator equal to 0. So if that number we read, if this one is the condition is true, so then you just work on that. You read the number and you add to the accumulator until they false. So that's the while loop flowchart. But remember, you see the same thing. This one we want to continue to do 10 times, right? So can we write in a for loop condition? Right, you can. So that's why we see here how we will do that. So when we write earlier our while loop example to the for loop, you just need to do the same thing like we say, okay? So one thing is, be careful. Your sum need to declare outside the for loop, okay? Because we need that later. Because afterward, we may need this sum for something else. So most of the time, we declare the sum outside the for loop. So then we do the declaration. So then if you want to declare your counter outside, you can do that too. So if you already did your num equal to 1 declare, then you can omit the initialization. Okay? So then here you still have your condition, your test. So then you have your update. So again, the same thing, sum plus equal to num. So this one, the same thing is sum equal to sum plus num. So that's our for loop example. Okay, so one thing is we just show you if your counter already declare and assign the value outside the for loop, right? Can you skip the initialization? You can. You can skip the initialization, but you cannot skip the semicolon. You have to have the semicolon all the time, 2 semicolon. Okay, so either can do this, or you say even I already declare assign outside, but if you want to give them again the value, that's okay too. Okay, so that's why you see even you declare outside, I still can do the initialization again. But one thing is we told you is you can skip that. They can run as well. So either way, just depends on how you will declare. But for me, now, actually, the best way I want you guys to write is this way. You always declare your sum outside because you want to reuse that later. Then your non-variable, actually for me, I will highly recommend from now on, you can just declare inside. Declare the variable and assign variable. Okay, because we say you can omit, but that's in the future after you more understand your for loop. But for now, actually, here is the format I highly recommend you have. Okay, even the textbook say, right, you can omit if you declare somewhere before. But that's the highly recommend you should do this way. So that's why here is what I recommend you to have to do this way. And if you declare your num inside the for loop, remember the scope for the variable for the non-variable is only in the for loop. After the for loop, the non-variable cannot be accessed anymore. Okay, so that's another peer exercise. So I want you to, I explain to you the problem. Then I want you to post the video. Then I will show you the solution later. So what you will do for this example is please download your chapter 5 example 11. So we're using a while loop in that example to calculate the factorial for 10. So just in case you forget factorial mean, factorial actually is the exclamation mark. So then that's mean 1 times 2 times 3 times 10. So please review this example that we show you in while loop. So then how you will rewrite in the for loop. Okay, so then you will see here is your while loop example. Okay, so we have so then this one is example earlier we show you, we have the sum. So then we have numbers start from 1 to 10. We're using the while loop to calculate the sum for the rounding total. Okay, so now how you will change this one become factorial.